Recording started.
Hello and welcome to the Train the Trainer for Learning Session 5. My name is Katie Hallis and I am one of the content specialists with the National Early Care and Education Learning Collaboratives Project. I want to start off by saying congratulations on a job well done this year. It is because of your hard work that our participants have been able to make amazing healthy changes to their programs. Let's not only use Learning Session 5 as another educational workshop, but also a time to celebrate everyone's successes. One thing to keep in mind is that unlike previous learning sessions, LS5 takes a little bit more preparation. Part of this learning session focuses on national, state, and local support, so there is some preparation in identifying who will be your guest speaker for this segment of the day. Additionally, we will have a section of the day dedicated for programs to make healthy recipes they can incorporate into mealtime, such as breakfast, lunch, or snack, or use as food activities and demonstrations in the classroom. So let's get started. Our agenda today will cover the information presented in the PowerPoint presentation and in the implementation guide. Since this is not the actual presentation, we will not show the slides, but we'll do a review of them to hopefully answer any questions and concerns that you might have. The information presented is available in your implementation guide and participant handbook, so please have those materials out and follow along. So today we'll cover the check-in and evaluation, Learning Session 4 review, so the tasks that participants completed during the Learning Session 4 action period. Also, the content for today. We'll have participants present their storyboards that reflect the changes they made through their long-term action plan. We'll have a guest speaker, or you can use the slides in the presentation to discuss national, state, and local support. We'll do a review of the ABCs of a Healthy Me. We'll have a section on facilitating change in your program, so what the programs should focus on after Learning Session 5. We'll take a look at SAFF Wellness, again, healthy recipes, and Dr. Kraft's fun physical activities for young children. So let's jump into the check-in and evaluation segment. As you arrive at Learning Session 5, welcome all participants back and congratulate them on all of the progress they've made this year. As participants check in, collect their action period tasks, which includes their Learning Session 4 group discussion worksheet, their post-go knapsack instruments, and ask participants to display their storyboards throughout the room. Remember, though, that participants should have completed the same knapsack instruments as they did during the Learning Session 1 action period. This means that if a program does not serve infants, they did not have to complete the breastfeeding and infant feeding instrument, and therefore should be submitting 4 out of the 5 instruments. On the flip side of that, if they do serve infants, they should, of course, completed and turned in all 5 of those instruments. So in terms of evaluation tools, your project coordinator should have received the packet protocols containing the evaluation tools from our evaluation team prior to the learning session. The package should contain the attendance sheets, the pre and post tests, feedback forms, and the post Let's Move Childcare quiz. The Let's Move Childcare pre-test was taken during the first learning session, so the participants will take it again at the end of this learning session to assess their progress. After you collect the action period tasks, go ahead and distribute the participant handbooks. Remember, those are 1 per person, and the Learning Session 4 post-test and Learning Session 5 pre-test. Reinforce that all participants need to complete them. Participants who did not attend Learning Session 4 should still complete the Learning Session 4 post-test, since it is also based on the content and activities that should have taken place during the Learning Session 4 action period. Remember that this should also be an opportunity for participants to network, so encourage the participants to speak with other programs about the changes they've made and highlighted on their storyboards. So go ahead and collect all of the Learning Session 4 post-test and Learning Session 5 pre-test once participants have completed them. And once you've collected and received all of the evaluation forms, you can begin the Learning Session 4 review. Remember that since this is the last learning session, the Learning Session 5 post-test will be taken at the end of the day, and I'll remind you all of that at the end of this webinar. Discuss with the participants their thoughts and feelings on the Learning Session 4 action period. What about Learning Session 4 impacted them the most? What did they feel was the most valuable section of the learning session and the action period? Use these questions to help guide your TA, but also please provide that information to us on the feedback forms. Since you do not have a lot of time, this can be used as the short check-in. You have an opportunity during the breakout groups to discuss this further, as well as next steps after Learning Session 5. So within the TA breakout groups, to review the Learning Session 4 action period, you can use the Learning Session 5 morning breakout group discussion notes found on page 9 of your implementation guide to assist you in facilitating a discussion. After that segment, we move into presenting storyboards. Similar to Learning Session 3, this allows programs the opportunity to share the wonderful changes they've made through their long-term action plans between Learning Session 3 and Learning Session 5. There is about an hour and 45 minutes dedicated to presenting storyboards throughout 2 different segments of the day. There is an hour for programs to present in the morning, and then another 45 minutes dedicated to presentations after lunch. So this first segment will be from 9:30 to 10:30 for about, as I said, an hour. And you can go ahead and choose how you would like to conduct this segment of the day. It may be done in large groups, depending on the size. Or if you have a larger group, you might want to do small TA breakout groups or as a gallery walk. Feel free to modify this segment based on the group size, the layout of your room, and the time that you have. If possible, use this segment to invite national, state, and local stakeholders to attend the presentations in order for them to make a direct connection with the organization or initiative and the program's role. This is a great time to get community organizations invested in the project and to show off the great work ECE programs have been doing over the course of the project. So after presenting storyboards, we move into the national, state, and local support segment. Prior to the learning session, you should have reached out to various community organizations to invite them to present during this segment. If possible, ask that they can come early, like I said, to listen to some of those storyboard presentations. The national, state, and local support segment is approximately 30 minutes and is an opportunity for participants to hear of community resources that are available to them even after the end of the ECLC project. The presentation contains suggestions of organizations to reach out to. The organizations that are highlighted are the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program Education, also known as SNAP-Ed, the Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program, also known as FNEP, local health department or hospital initiatives, such as breastfeeding-friendly hospitals, the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, also known as WIC, the Child and Adult Care Food Program, also known as CACFP, Quality Rating and Improvement System, also known as QRIS, and licensing. If a state or local representative is not available to speak during this segment, feel free to present the slides within the presentation to provide an overview of each organization or program and the potential resources available to participants. However, if you do have a presenter, you do not need to present these slides, but rather inform participants that the information is there for them to refer back to. Please note that each slide contains a place to insert the contact information for each organization. Please do this prior to the learning session and/or create a contact information page to distribute to participants. Next, we jump into the review of ABCs of a Healthy Me. So this is a segment that is a brief review from Learning Session 1. I just want you all to remind participants that this is a direct messaging framework to help staff and families remember the best practices for healthy eating, physical activity, reduced screen time, and breastfeeding support. This slide shows the ABCs of a Healthy Me handout. You also have provided participants with the posters in previous learning sessions. Please inform participants that this handout is available in the ECELC section of the Let's Move Childcare website if they'd like to print multiple copies. And this can also be found on page 5-35 in their participant handbook. The ABCs of a Healthy Me segment is 15 minutes in length from 11 to 11:15 with a 5.5-minute video shown during this time block. Play the video, which is titled, How Do National and State Best Practice Guidelines Support Your Work to Help Children Grow Up Healthy? This video can be found on the companion USB if you do not have internet access. Next, we go to lunch. Like past learning sessions, this is 45 minutes in length. However, as mentioned earlier in this webinar, feel free to make this a working lunch if you have a large number of storyboard presentations. If you do not have a large group, go ahead and enjoy lunch and finish up presentations during the 45-minute time block after lunch. So this is a continuation of the storyboard presentations that were started in the morning. So again, you had an hour in the morning, and you'll continue with presentations in the format of your choosing, whether it's a large group, smaller TA breakout groups, or a gallery walk for the remaining 45 minutes of this segment. So this segment is from 12 to 12:45. And as I said, is about 45 minutes. But if you have a larger group and you need more time, again, you can have a working lunch and start presentations after everyone gets their food. Next, we move into Part C, Facilitating Change in Your Program. And using the Learning Session 5 afternoon breakout group notes found on page 27 of the implementation guide, facilitate a discussion around how programs will continue to implement their long-term action plan goals and how they can create program policies to help support best practices. Facilitating change in your program is 30 minutes, which includes the Keep It Up activity. The instructions for this activity can be found on page 6 of the implementation guide and requires a beach ball. This activity focuses on teamwork and hopefully helps participants think about how to keep up the goals they've already achieved and ones they'd like to focus on moving forward. As you close this segment, leave your participants with a feeling of comfort and an understanding of how to continue to implement changes within their program. Discuss with the programs that even though this was the last learning session, they will continue to receive additional support and technical assistance for up to 1 month. Encourage the programs to take advantage of this opportunity. Continue to work and support them on meeting their long-term action plan goals and connect them with community organizations that can support them even after the project ends. Next, we move into the SAFF Wellness section. So in this segment, you'll review the benefits of and strategies to include staff wellness in the workplace. This segment includes a video, group activity, and a large group discussion on which low-cost staff wellness ideas they can adopt for their own programs. Staff wellness is from 1:15 to 1:45 in the afternoon and is 30 minutes. After reviewing the benefits of staff wellness, the presentation prompts you to play a video titled The Power of Us. This video is about 2 minutes long and it emphasizes the importance of early care and education and the powerful position providers are in to make a difference on children. Next, you will conduct the Mindful Minute activity. This activity can be found on page 19 in the implementation guide. This activity should be conducted in a quiet room and is an opportunity for participants to learn a technique that they can do during the workday, particularly during stressful situations. Next, review the 101 low-cost activities for worksite wellness tip sheet. Facilitate a large group discussion and ask participants to identify at least 3 tips they would like to incorporate into their daily or monthly planning. Please emphasize the importance of accountability when it comes to starting a new routine. Having a support system is key to being successful in making changes, and fellow teachers can be that support system that is needed. Also in this segment, introduce the participants to the Super Tracker website and encourage them to share it with their parents and program staff as a guide for them to begin making healthy changes. It allows you to insert your personal information, which includes your height, weight, age, and physical activity level. And Super Tracker then uses that information to develop calorie and food group recommendations. It also contains a food database, so you can track the foods you eat every day and compare it to the recommendations. Next, review the 101 low-cost ideas for worksite wellness tip sheet. Facilitate a large group discussion and ask participants again to identify the 3 tips they would like to incorporate into their planning. And here's the Super Tracker website that I briefly went over. On the last slide after the Super Tracker, you'll notice there's a blank slide within the section. And if you have any community health events or activities that you're aware of, feel free to insert them on this blank slide in the presentation. Events might include a local health fair or a 5K run or walk, and any place that offers free health screening, such as local drugstores. Next is Part E, the Healthy Recipes segment. So this segment requires a little more preparation. Prior to the learning session, you will choose 2 to 3 recipes from the Meals Without Squeals Child Care Feeding Guide and Cookbook. The recipes can be found on pages 113 to 188 of this book. Shop and prepare the ingredients prior to the learning session. And as you're gathering ingredients, remember additional supplies that you might need, including extension cords, disposable food safety gloves, paper plates and bowls, as well as plastic silverware and cooking equipment. During the session, designate different areas of the room as recipe stations and set them up using recipe cards, ingredients, kitchen equipment, and materials. After the healthy recipes that are made, distribute the Meals Without Squeals Child Care Feeding Guide program. These can also be used while making them so that the groups get a handle on how to use the recipes that they are assigned. Please note that the Healthy Recipes segment is 30 minutes in length, so choose recipes that are relatively easy to prepare. Recipes that focus on cold food items may be easier than those that require a lot of cooking equipment. Some states have even moved this segment to before lunch to use it as a chance for participants to make an appetizer. So feel free to move this section if you'd prefer to do that. Next, we have Active Play, Fun Physical Activities for Young Children, created by Dr. Crafts, and an accompanying DVD. The DVD shows Dr. Kraft implementing various activities from this book in early childhood programs using a musical background. The DVD has an option that includes Dr. Kraft's voiceover that includes her teacher thinking, what she sees, why she makes the decisions that she makes, and what adaptations need to be made. So choose and conduct 2 activities from this book. Facilitate a large group discussion addressing the questions that are listed in the notes section of the presentation and page 26 of the implementation guide. After conducting the discussion, use the DVD to play 1 video and prompt the discussion of how to modify that specific activity. Remember to discuss how to modify the activity to make it age and developmentally appropriate for all children cared for in the ECE program. This segment will be 30 minutes from 2:15 to 2:45. However, if you have a presenter who's attending for the national, state, and local support segment, and you would like to offer more than 30 minutes for that section, feel free to extend that section to 1 hour, and then just conduct the activities from Dr. Kraft's activities during the physical activity breaks that are spread out throughout the day. If you choose this option, please do not forget to still hold large group discussions and review of the DVD after each physical activity break. And now we've hit the end of learning session 5, and as you can tell, the end of this session is a little different than past sessions. Since this is the last learning session, all evaluation tools must be completed by participants and turned in. This includes the learning session 5 post-test, the learning session 5 feedback form, and the Let's Move Child Care post-quiz. The participants will complete a lot of paperwork, so just remember to have those ready and prepared for your participants. Please make sure all documents are filled out and return them to the project coordinator, who will send them to Gretchen Swanson. You will also need to distribute the completion certificates to all participants, and use this time to complete any final details regarding stipends or additional requirements from your state for completion of the project. And that's it. Congratulations, you have completed the Learning Session 5 Train the Trainer webinar. I hope that you feel more confident, prepared, and ready to facilitate your final learning session. If you have any additional questions, please contact your project coordinator or myself or Brianna if you have any questions regarding the learning session. So thank you all for the incredible work you have done with early care and education providers this year. Good luck with your final learning session, and please let us know if you have any questions as you prepare. Have a great day.